Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. How are you this morning? Good morning, everybody. Hello. How are you doing? Good morning. Hope that you're doing well this morning. This gray day. There was actually a little snow coming in this morning, a little sleet, if you can believe it. Madness. Good morning, good morning. Hello, everyone. Pray there's goodness in your day today. This first 11/11 gathering of Eastertide 2026. Very exciting. Good morning, friends. Good morning, good morning. Alrighty. Hey, Jane, good morning to you. Yes, I saw that. You guys have proper snow up there in the Granite State. I hope that it is April always has to get its little kick going out the door, doesn't it? Hopefully the crocuses don't take it too hard. Good morning, Karen. Hope you're doing great this morning. Excuse me, everybody. All right, let's get going this morning. It is the 7th day of April. This first week of April is gone already. This 7th day of April here on this Tuesday at 11:11, and I'm glad you're a part of the journey. We are in Eastertide, this season between the where we contemplate what this means. This season between Easter and Pentecost. These 50 days of wondering what is to come, what is before us, to live into this reality of He who was dead is now alive. And it, it's this the thing about Easter to me that I find so compelling is not simply that it is so a part of the world in which we find ourselves. You know that Easter lands in springtime, that the world is coming alive at the time in which we are looking at trees without leaves on them that will soon be green, and little green shoots that are poking out of the ground that will still soon be daffodils. That this awakening and aliveness of creation. It's been said that the energy exerted in springtime is more than all in one springtime is more than all of the ordnance, all of the explosions, all of the bullets that have ever been fired, or explosives that have ever been used in war. And I think it's a beautiful image of what it means to encounter the resurrection and encounter this season. It I think forces on us or hoists on us. There's a choice. When you're kind of in wintertime, there's this way in which you kind of just grinding along, right? Like, just put a little more wood in the fire, snuggle up a little more, kind of get through the season. I mean, we can go out and play in it. We can have a great time in winter. There's all those sorts of things. But there is this natural rhythm of that now, as we find ourselves with the temperatures warming, with sun beginning to come someday, with even though the snow is here, it is not going to last. We know that that as we step into the natural world coming alive, and then we step into Easter time, there is this way in which our spiritual life and our spiritual world is coming alive. And we're brought to this reality where that I think we encounter it in this ninth chapter of Matthew, but it is it harkens this question of what did Jesus come here for? What was I mean, we know kind of the ultimate reality, but really what does this look like? And so in the ninth chapter of Matthew it says, while Jesus was having dinner in Matthew's house, many tax collectors and sinners and came and ate with him and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw this, they asked his disciples, "Why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners?" And on hearing this, Jesus said, "It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, for I have come not to call the righteous, but the sinners." This, this is a famous image of Jesus eating with the tax collectors and the sinners. Jesus eating with those who are Jesus coming into community with those who are outside of the world, who are participating in the brokenness of the world, who are wounded, who are hurt, who are even in the business of hurting and wounding, as the tax collectors were. And that they're no longer participating in the world as it is. And there's this sense of Jesus kind of explaining why he came, why he shows up, and why he goes through all that we talk about in Easter. Is that he comes as the great physician. He comes as the great doctor. It's not the healthy that need a doctor, but the sick. That he is showing up to heal the brokenness of the world, to heal the wounds of the world. And where better to start than those who are doing wounding and those who have been wounded. Those who are and so he shows up to the tax collectors who are busy extorting money from the Israelites and the Jews that are there, and goes to those who are the sinners, those who are not in right relationship with the temple and who are outcast as a part of this. So those who have been wounded and those who are still doing wounding. And I think it says something about our life. Like I think this is one of those things that we can talk about this in these big sense of like the big cosmic things of God, Jesus came to the world, but really I think this is a powerfully intimate thing. Just like spring is really this powerfully personal thing for all of us. The springtime is happening, but that first time that you walk outside and you smell the earth, you get that smell of the earth. That first time that you get out and you see a burst of color in a crocus. After a long winter, these first moments of seeing the world come alive, and the way that yes, they're affecting everybody. Yes, they're affecting, but they affect you. Like this is a personal thing. And I think that we can talk about, what Jesus was up to in a big way, but I think the power of it in many ways for me these days is the way in which it is such a personal thing. That he comes to heal my wounds, and he comes to heal the way that I'm still wounding, that I'm still out there hurting people, even if I may be doing so inadvertently, even if the way I'm participating in things that are wounding and that are hurting, and that what that requires of me to place Jesus in the cosmos of things. That that even in this passage he's talking about being the great physician. He's talking about being the great healer of both those the wounding and the wounded. But when he shows up to me, there's this way in which he's come to call my hard bits, my gooey bits, my broken bits, the parts of me that I would not bring out and show and trot out, the parts of me that would take the kidney shot if they're given the chance. That the parts of me that are afraid, the parts of me that are shamed, all of those, that's where Jesus comes to. And it's this understanding of who, and so that's, and this is this wildly personal thing. And at the same time, at the same moment, just like walking outside and seeing that first crocus or smelling that first earth is a wildly personal thing, it is also as universal for the whole world. C.S. Lewis writes this. He says, you must make your choice. He's talking about Jesus. He's talking about understanding Jesus, about who Jesus is. You know, we often, I think this question of Eastertide and what we're trying to sort out in this time of Easter, these days, what's actually going on? What's been happening here? What does it mean that this guy who is dead has come alive? What does this whole thing mean? That sorting that out requires us to stand in this either place, to make a choice. And in the same way that when we see the crocus poke out of the ground or we smell the earth, it makes us make a choice about whether we're going to re-engage with life or whether or not we're going to go back and hide under our bed. You know, when it's cold out, when it's windy out, when it's snowy out, when white is on top of white, there's no invitation, there's no either or to that. But now, this season, this hour, this time, there's this question. What are we going to do? And what are we going to do when Jesus comes? And who are we going to say Jesus is when he shows up to our wounded bits and to our wounding bits, to the parts of ourselves that are still busy hurting and still busy being hurt? So Lewis says this. He says, you must make your choice. Either this man was and is the Son of God, or else he is a madman or something worse. You can shut him up for a fool. You can spit at him and kill him as a demon. Or you can fall at his feet and call him Lord and God. But let us not come to any patronizing nonsense about his being a great human teacher. He has not left that option open to us, and he did not intend to. That if Jesus shows up to us as a great moral teacher, not to say he wasn't that, but if that's all he is, then there is no room then for that which truly needs to transform us. Because I don't need morality to know what my wounding bits are up to. I don't need morality to know how my wounded parts ache. I know that my heart hurts. I know that my mind is unclear. I know that my impulses are not always solid. I know that. That's hardwired even into the natural law. But what I have to know is who this person Jesus that shows up to them is. Can he handle those things? Or is he just another devil? Is just another madman set to set me down a path? That the invitation to Eastertide is our invitation to this either reality. And it's the invitation to heaven. It really is. That we can give all of those hurting parts. We can give all of those aching parts. We can give all of those wounding parts that are still snapping at somebody when they don't mean to. We can give them over to him and let him make them right. We can give them over to him and let him dine with even the worst of us. And then set that table and see what happens. Because go and learn what it means that the healthy don't need a doctor, but the sick. And I've showed up for the sick, says Jesus. I desire mercy, not sacrifice. Friends, the invitation to Easter is the invitation to stop beating yourself down, beating yourself up, beating yourself into submission. It is the invitation to stop trying to heal the world or yourself, or trying to make it to to force it into some sort of shape, some sort of control that you think you have that you never had to begin with. Because either Jesus is a madman, either Jesus is a demon, or he is the Son of God, in whom all power, all healing, all goodness, all rightness, all truth, and all beauty dwells. But what Easter makes us do is what we can't say is that, he's just a guy with some good ideas. And I am, for one, am grateful for that reality. I am grateful for that invitation. Because at the end of the day, the hurting parts of me and the parts who are out busy hurting others, those parts, they do not need another moral lesson, and they do not need another demon to torture them. What they need is a Savior. What they need is the Son of Man in God glorified, come to make all things new, and all things well, and all things right. Because he has not come for the righteous, but we sinners. All right, friends, that's my hope for you today. Peace and grace to you all. Good morning. Let's just say hi to everybody. Hey, Marianne, good morning to you. Donna, so wonderful to see you. Jamie, hello, hello. I want to know about that grandbaby. Karen, congratulations. Karen, good morning to you. Jane, so glad to see you all. Peace and grace to you all, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 11:11.